Bonjour les amis, dans cette vidéo, nous allons continuer à étudier l'unité 4, aspects de la vie quotidienne, et nous allons faire une étude de grammaire dans cette vidéo. Nous allons réviser les pronoms I et en. Vous vous souvenez des pronoms I et en? Que veut dire le pronom I? I veut dire there and en veut dire some. As you see in my background here, I'm going to move this way, I remplace un endroit ou un lieu. Et il remplace aussi la préposition à plus une chose ou une idée. Alors que en remplace une quantité et des expressions avec la préposition de. D'accord? Alors, je vais commencer à partager mon écran. Voilà, et tout de suite, vous allez voir la première page ou bien la première diapositive de la présentation, aspect de la vie quotidienne. Nous allons faire une révision du pronom I, du pronom en, et nous allons étudier les expressions indéfinies de quantité. Commençons tout de suite avec le pronom I. The object pronoun I replaces a noun or a noun phrase introduced by a preposition of place. A preposition of place would be either à, en, dans, chez, sur, sous, etc. À means at, en means inside or in, dans means inside, chez means at somebody's house, sur means on, sous means under. So it's the equivalent of there. Voici un exemple. Tu vas au supermarché. Voici au equals à plus le au supermarché. So you can replace the whole phrase with I. Oui, j'y vais. And you conjugate aller with je, not with tu, as in the initial sentence. And where do you place I? You place it before the conjugated verb. D'accord? Voici un autre exemple. Tu es passé chez le pharmacien. Did you stop by the pharmacist? Non, je n'y suis pas passé. So here we have the passé composé of passé. It uses être in this case. So we put the ne, pas around the helper verb and I is placed before the conjugated verb. D'accord? So we end up with non, je n'y suis pas passé. Voilà. On continue. I is also used to replace a plus noun referring to a thing. Not just a location or a person, but it could be a thing. Tu vas participer au championnat. Are you going to participate in the championship? So here, before we continue, it's important to recognize the tense of the verbs in the sentence. So when we replace au championnat with the preposition I, we know where to place it, right? So when we have tu vas participer au championnat, you have two consecutive verbs, which is the infinitive formation, aller plus infinitive, right? So we know that when we have to replace au championnat, we're going to place it here before the second conjugated verb. Tu vas participer au championnat? Oui, je vais y participer. Now let's look at some verbs that use the preposition a, because it's important to know which verbs use the preposition a. Here we go. We have jouer à, participer à, croire à, penser à, assister à, faire attention à. So whatever follows a could then be replaced with I and placed in the sentence where it's appropriate. Now, révision du pronom en. The object pronoun en replaces du, de la, de l'apostrophe, des, or de plus noun. It's the equivalent of some or any. Voici un exemple. Tu prends des vitamines. Do you take vitamins or any vitamins or some vitamins? Non, je n'en prends pas. So, des vitamines is replaced with en. And then we place en before the conjugated verb. And since it's a present tense sentence, it's very simple. We place the en before the conjugated verb. And if it's negative, we put ne and pas around the conjugated verb, but en would stay right before the conjugated verb. Here we have a sentence in the passé composé. So where do we place en? Tu as acheté du dentifrice? Du dentifrice will be replaced with en. And then we change the sentence from tu as acheté to j'ai acheté, and we place en before the helper verb. En is also used to replace the preposition de plus noun. Here's an example. Tu viens de la pharmacie? Are you coming from the pharmacy? Oui, j'en viens. Yes, I'm coming from there. Yes, from there I'm coming. Or I, from there, am coming. Tu as besoin de ton stylo à billes? Do you need your pen? Non, je n'en ai pas besoin. So here we have the expression avoir besoin de. It will be broken a little bit here in the second sentence. Je n'ai pas besoin de en. So je n'en ai pas besoin. En is also used to replace a noun introduced by un or une, like so. Tu as une guitare? Do you have a guitar? Oui, j'en ai une. So here, what do? Guitar will be replaced with en, and then we place en before the verb, and we keep the number at the end. Here you go. Tu as une guitare? Oui, j'en ai une. Do you have a guitar? Yes, I have one of it. It could also replace a noun introduced by a number. En is also used to replace de plus noun after an expression of quantity. Here is an example. Tu as beaucoup d'argent? Beaucoup is an expression of quantity and it means a lot. Beaucoup should be followed with the preposition de. Non, je n'en ai pas beaucoup. So here we replaced de plus argent with en, and then we moved it before the conjugated verb. Je n'en ai pas, but we left beaucoup. I don't have a lot of it. I don't have a lot of it. In English, we might say, no, I don't have a lot. But in French, we have to say of it, right? I don't have a lot of it. Vous voulez 2 kilos d'orange? Do you want 2 kilos of oranges? So here we have an expression of quantity, which is 2 kilos. So we replace only d'orange with en. We place it before the verb, and we keep the expression of quantity at the end. Oui, j'en veux 2 kilos. Yes, I want 2 kilos of it. Combien de rouleaux de diapos as-tu pris? J'en ai pris un rouleau. Because rouleau is an expression of quantity, we keep it at the end and we replace de diapos, which is the role of negative for the camera. So we replace de diapos with un. Now, let's look at the verbs that are used with the preposition de. We have venir de, to come from, parler de, to talk about, avoir besoin de, to have need of, avoir envie de, to be in the mood for, and avoir peur de. Here are some of the verbs. There's more, of course. Here we have il achète du pain. Il en achète. Tu as des chaussures? Do you have any shoes? Oui, j'en ai. Yes, I have some. Vous écoutez des chansons? Do you listen to songs? So it could be replaced with vous en écoutez. Notice in this sentence I have read already, we don't have any expressions of quantity or numbers, so there is no issue. But if we continue, mais, but, je parle 3 langues. So here we have a number. How do we resume the sentence or shorten it? We say j'en parle 3. So we replace langue that is preceded by a number with un, and we leave the number at the end. Here we have un nom précédé par un nombre. So this should be, this bubble refer to this sentence. Voilà, langue is a noun précédé par un nombre. What happens? This is supposed to point to 3. Le nombre ou la quantité reste à la fin de la page. Je parle 3 langues, ou à la fin de la phrase, pardon. Je parle 3 langues, j'en parle 3. I speak 3 languages, or I speak 3 of them. Maintenant, d'autres exemples avec les quantités spécifiées. Tu as des jeux? Oui, j'en ai un. Do you have any games? Yes, I have one. Or we can say, oui, j'en ai deux boîtes. Yes, I have two boxes of games. Or, oui, j'en ai un peu. Yes, I have a little. So here, notice that the expression of quantity and the numbers stay at the end, although we use un. Oui, j'en ai deux. We can say also, here is another example to answer the question tu as des jeux. We can say, oui, j'en ai deux. Yes, I have two of them. Or, oui, j'en ai beaucoup. For the negation, la forme négative, non, je n'en ai pas beaucoup. Look how I color-coded the sentence, because notice that the expression of quantity stay at the end. And here, the en is placed before the conjugated verb. Et le ne pas is also placed around the conjugated verb. Maintenant, dans cette diapositive, on va faire une petite révision. Les pronoms I et en come before the verb, n'est-ce pas? Before the verb, except in the affirmative commands. Do you remember the affirmative commands? Compare the interrogative sentence. Tu vas à la papeterie. We can replace à la papeterie with I, and we have tu y vas in a question form. But for the command form, vas-y, go ahead, or go there, right? So we drop the subject pronoun, we keep va, and we move the pronoun of lieu, of placement, to after the verb. And we put a hyphen in between to indicate that there was an inversion that happened. So vas-y, go there, but vas-y could also mean go ahead, go on. Tu achètes des enveloppes? So this envelope will be replaced with un. Tu en achètes? Now for the command form, we say achète-en. Achète-en. Buy some of it. Achète-en. Note the use of en with il y a and donnez-moi. Here's an example. Il y a une papeterie dans mon quartier. There is a papeterie, stationery place or store in my neighborhood. Il y en a une, there is one. There is one of it, right? Il y en a une. Now, donnez-moi 2 blocs de papier. Give me 2 stacks of paper. Here is something you have to memorize. Donnez-moi 2. Donnez-moi 2. So, un replaces 2 blocs de papier, right? Donnez-moi. And then we keep the number at the end. Donnez-moi 2. Donnez-moi 3. So, give me 2 of it. Give me 2 of it. Give me 3 of it. D'accord? Maintenant, nous allons étudier les expressions de quantité et voilà le cible d'apprentissage. Je peux faire référence à des quantités approximatives de choses ou de personnes. So, we're going to look at les expressions indéfinies de quantité. Indefinite expressions of quantity refer to an undetermined number of people or things. Let's look at some. Quelques with S means some or a few. Quelques-uns means some or a few as well. And quelques-unes means some or a few. Depends on the gender of the item we're talking about. Now, another expression of quantity that is indéfinie, une autre ou un autre. Voyons, une autre, it could also mean another one. Une autre, another, or another one. D'autres means other or some other. And then d'autres means also others and some. D'accord. Plusieurs means several. So here we are looking at the feminine as well. Plusieurs means several, and certains or certaines, some or several, or certain ones. La plupart de means most of, or most of them. So the above expressions that we just saw of quantity can be used either as subjects or objects. And voyons quelques exemples. As subjects, here how they can be used. Quelques amis sont venus, which means some friends have arrived or came over. In this sentence, quelques amis sont venus. Ami is the subject of sont venus, and quelques is an adjective that describes ami. Plusieurs lettres sont arrivées. The lettre is the subject of sont arrivées, but plusieurs is an adjective that describes lettre. Okay, so it's an adjective of a subject. On this side here, under the pronouns, quelques-unes sont venues. So we can say quelques amis sont venus or quelques-unes sont venues. Some friends came or some of them came. Quelques-unes here is the subject of sont venus, and the same thing here, plusieurs sont arrivés. Plusieurs itself is the subject of sont arrivés. Now, how could it be an object? The indefinite expression of quantity. J'ai invité quelques amis. I invited some friends. I invited home some friends. So, ami is the object and quelques is the adjective that describes this object. And in this sentence, j'en ai invité quelques-uns. I invited some of them. I invited some. Quelques-uns itself is the object of the sentence, n'est-ce pas? So, je ai invité quelques-uns of them. D'accord? Here are some more examples. Nous avons visité plusieurs monuments. We visited several monuments or many monuments. Plusieurs is the adjective that describes monument, which is the object. Nous en avons visité plusieurs. Nous avons visité plusieurs monuments. Nous en avons visité plusieurs. So here, say it with me, practice it. So you hear yourself say it and it makes sense and you can make it on your own. Note that en is used with the indefinite pronouns of quantity when these expressions are the direct object of the verb. So this means in a sentence like this, nous avons visité plusieurs, we visited plusieurs, right? Plusieurs is indefinite pronoun of quantity, and it is at the same time a direct object because we visited what? Plusieurs. So the action of the verb falls directly on plusieurs and there is no preposition before it, right? So nous en avons visité plusieurs. In this case, en is used with the indefinite pronoun of quantity that is a direct object of the verb. We come here to the end of our video. Please review the e and en carefully. Do the grammar activities that I'm going to assign you, and I'll be in class helping you. Et au revoir à la prochaine vidéo. Merci.